Welcome back. You're watching Network Africa. A long-serving jihadist called for a return to Sharia law in northern Mali at a meeting attended by hundreds of local residents. According to a video, the meeting pointed to difficulties Western powers face in countering the influence of extremists in the fragile region. They also cite intelligence groups as saying that the 13-minute video was the first in a series entitled From the Depths of the Sahara, released by Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb's Al-Andalus Media Productions. Now it shows a man identified as Commander Tala al-Azawadi, I hope I got that right, a former head of Timbuktu's Islamic police, which became notorious among locals for banning music and stoning alleged adulterers to death during a brief Islamist militant occupation in 2012. And while security experts have said Islamist extremists are unlikely to recover their 2012 positions and reestablish Sharia law now that the UN peacekeeping force is in place, the video points to support jihadists still enjoy in some communities. Let's talk about the weather now. The UN Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator says El Nino is already having devastating effects on many parts of the world, adding that the impact, especially on food insecurity, may last as long as 2 years. Now, that's according to experts and meteorologists. Previous El Nino events have devastated crop yields and killed livestock, forcing some farmers and herders to leave their families behind in search of a more reliable income. The weather crisis has seen food shortages and soaring food prices across the Horn of Africa, which forced food out of reach for many and pushed poor households into poverty.
In some regions, millions of people are already facing food insecurity caused by drought related to El Nino. In other parts of the world, we have a short window of opportunity now to prepare for what we know will happen within months. In both cases, we must act together and we must act quickly. The impacts, especially on food insecurity, may last as long as 2 years. I am particularly concerned about a number of countries spread across Central and South America, the Pacific region, and East and South Africa. El Nino poses a critical test to our global humanitarian system in two fundamental areas. Firstly, El Nino tests our commitment to early action, which was reaffirmed after the devastating Horn of Africa drought of 2011. The warning signs are there. Are we prepared to act on them?
So El Nino is sweeping through even parts of Africa. Now, this has got to be the hottest summers South Africa has ever experienced. Temperatures are rising in Johannesburg, hitting a record 37 degrees Celsius. Added to that, the country is currently experiencing a drought which has affected Africa's largest producer of maize. The Weather Service says temperatures are expected to rise even further. Our correspondent in South Africa, Betty Dibia, reports.
Sure, it's hot. Like, it's really hot. Like, I can barely stand it.
Yesterday it was a bit hectic. I even slept during the day. I couldn't cope. But today is much better. I guess it's dropped.
This is how I'm coping with the heat wave. Dress as little as I possibly can and drink water, just keep cool.
I'm here at the observation post of the South African Weather Service in Pretoria, and joining me to explain the weather situation is a senior forecaster, Mr. Jan Vermeulen. Mr. Vermeulen, thank you for joining us. What exactly is the situation? What's the problem?
Good day, Betty. Good day, viewers. Yes, we have an upper air high pressure system that is dominating the weather over South Africa, and it's causing, especially over the northeastern provinces, that is now Gauteng, Mpumalanga and Limpopo, extremely hot weather, and because we've been having it now for more than 3 days, it is an heat wave.
What can people do to just be safe?
Yes, what people can do is to stay indoors in a air-conditioned room. And they must definitely use more liquid. Okay, and then further also, people must not do too strenuous work and take more often breaks if they are busy with very strenuous work. And then also, I think one must take better care of the old and infirmed, rather also keep them indoors in a cool place, and the same applies to the young children and so on. That should also not be allowed to play outside from between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the heat is on its most.
South Africans trying to deal with the heat. Well, the death toll of suspected cases of Lassa fever outbreak in Nigeria's Taraba state has risen to 5, as additional 2 people suspected to have the disease are reportedly dead at the state specialist hospital in Jalingo, northeast of Nigeria. The State Commissioner for Health, Mr. Innocent Vakai, said 2 other suspected cases are receiving treatment and are responding.
This is the Federal Medical Center in Jalingo, Taraba State, where all suspected cases of Lassa fever are brought for treatment. Already, the state government has set up a quarantine center for those suspected to have the virus, an acute viral hemorrhagic fever caused by the Lassa virus transmitted to humans from rodents. The death toll has increased to 5, as 2 suspected cases died 2 days ago.
Some patients were brought from to the wards, and they were received, and treatment were commenced, and there is a suspicion that there could be suspected cases of Lassa.
While 2 surviving suspects are still receiving treatment, residents have been advised to report any other suspected cases.
The 2 patients, to the best of my knowledge, they are responding to treatment, to the conventional drugs we use in treatment of Lassa fever. They are responding, and we hope they are going to make it. And the Nigerian Center for Disease Control in Abuja has also assisted us with drugs for the management of these cases.
People who develop symptoms like similar to malaria or typhoid or similar common ailments, if they take the initial remedies, whether anti-malarial or treatment for typhoid, and after 48 hours they have not seen any substantial improvement, they should immediately bring themselves for tests for further assessment by the medical team in the hospital.
The Commissioner for Health also insists that the cases they have are still suspected, and they are waiting for the results to receive confirmation.
We have sent the samples since on Sunday, and our doctors are currently in Abuja. So any moment from now, we are likely to receive the outcome from the laboratory, which is likely to say either they are negative for Lassa fever, or they can give us a confirmation and say all the cases we are saying are positive for Lassa fever. So if they turn out to be positive, then we can make a categorical statement to say we have confirmed cases of Lassa fever in Taraba State.
As the state government awaits the results of the blood samples, it has intensified its campaign in educating the residents on the dangers and measures to adopt in preventing contamination.
And so the information is everywhere: how to prevent Lassa fever, wash your hands, keep good hygiene. And the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, has confirmed that the death toll, unfortunately, from the recent outbreak is now 40. He says the disease has spread to 10 states since the last 6 weeks, when the first case was reported in November. The death toll represents over 43% of the 86 cases reported so far.